What's up, beautiful people? Adria Dion here with a very special guest, Ms. Monica Akpotosevwe. I didn't say it right.
Got it. Akpotosevwe.
I feel so. Is that French or?
It's Nigerian.
It's what?
Nigerian.
Nigerian.
Yes.
Okay. I like the way it sounds. Rolls off my tongue. Makes me feel like I know something. But anyway, super excited to have you on the Gold Mine podcast. This episode is, I know, going to help so many people. But first, I'll just let you tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to be here and every single thing that you're doing, because you're amazing and you're dope and you're just all of these great things. Okay. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. So thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I am Monica Akpotosevwe. I am your self-care strategist, honey. I love what I do. But before we even get into that, I'm a dual mompreneur, honey. I'm out here serving tables while I'm creating my own tables, right? I have an 11-year-old son. I have a 9-to-5. I work in healthcare compliance for a software company. And then I get to do the fun stuff, right? I get to be the CEO and the self-care strategist here at Vibacious Box, where we uplift women and help women walk into their amazingness, their bombness, their dopeness via self-care strategies that are out the box, but it's going to boost your self-confidence, your self-awareness, and set those stiff boundaries. Okay. We really elevate and empower women over here. And then I also have a travel company called Tega Travels, where we uplift people and getting their trip together, helping them live their entire best travel life without snatching their headlines in the process. And yes, I do get high off my own supply. Travel is life and self-care is bae, period.
Oh, wow. I love it. So for all of the people out here saying, well, girl, you know, we can't really relate because you're full-time in your business. No, ma'am, I know that this is possible because I was also working a 9-to-5 before, and I see so many bomb women do it every single day. Okay. Bomb women like Miss Monica, who is doing all the things. Okay. And let me just say, she is also a fellow Aries. So of course, you know, we cannot sit still. We got a million hats to wear, okay? Things to do, places to be. And I just love everything that you're doing. You're also very active in church and in the community and doing all of that. And also just to speak a little bit about your travel company, we are teaming up. Monica is helping me with the retreat, the Cater to You retreat that's coming up in September. And this girl is a planner. Okay. So me and her collabing together, it's just going to be an amazing experience. And so I'm really excited. We be on the phone planning and be on there for forever. Like, okay, we're doing this. So you are just bomb at everything you do. And I love when I met you, I met you in a marketing group and you were primarily promoting Vibacious Box. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Because I love the whole concept, and you kind of talked about it a little bit just now, but like kind of take a deep dive into what Vibacious Box really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Vibacious Box is my baby, right? So I know as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we all have these things that are kind of like passion projects. But I don't want to call Vibacious Box a passion project. I do want to call it a purpose project. Okay. My purpose is there. My love is there. I love my travel clients. I love them too. I really put my heart and soul into everything. That's just the Aries way. But Vibacious Box is super, super amazing. As you can see, this is the box, right? But it started.
I love the placement. Like she's matching. She's everything. It's out there. It's a vibe. It's a look.
But you know what? The funny thing is it stays there. It stays there because it's a reminder of what I do and what it stands for. So a lot of people even ask me, Monica, what in the world is a self-care strategist? How did Vibacious Box even come to be? And it came to be because one, life has been its greatest teacher, right? Life has been something that has given me so much experience. So 2 things to know about your girl, honey. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Your girl is a kidnapping survivor and I'm a lupus warrior. So I know about being in dark places. I know about not knowing who you are, not identifying with an identity. I know what it feels like not to be heard, not to even be able to trust the voice inside your own mind, inside of your own head. And what's so powerful with my kidnapping story is that it actually happened the very next day after I got baptized. So I went through a season of isolation and seclusion and being angry with God and not really understanding who I was and who I wanted to be, like, at all. I was very impressionable and I wanted to be everything and anything, right? So Vibacious Box came because when I was younger, when I was 10, right after my kidnapping situation, I would write about days that I felt good, days that I felt beautiful, days that I felt like I was on top of the world. You can't tell me nothing, because I wanted to capture those because I wasn't having a lot of those days. I was depressed, I was anxious, I was sad, I was scared, I was frustrated, I was overwhelmed. It was so much. And I just started writing in the box, right? And I write. And when I write, I would date it and I would drop it into a box. Now, the box I had back then, y'all, listen, it was not that cute box. It was a diaper box. It was a diaper box. But what I did was, and how I used it, whenever I had a bad day, I would go in the box and I would pull out a note just at random and I would read it. And it would serve as a purpose to me to know what I can have, what type of day I can have, what type of person I could be, because I was too busy beating myself up. So I would call that a love deposit and a love draw. Love withdrawal. So my love withdrawal is when I pulled the note out, and then the love deposit is when I put those notes in, right? And I didn't realize years ago that was something so powerful that was going to help me come over myself, but it really, really did. And so fast forward with the travel business, because I've been in business, oh gosh, since 2017. And so the concept came to me to have travel boxes. And it was a self-care travel box, and they were so cute. They were not like that. They were actually like heavy, and they had trunks in them. And I would put all these cute things in it. And women would always ask me, how are you so happy? Can I get one of those? What do you do? How do you do? And I just started sharing some self-care strategies that I did for myself, for other women, and it helped them gain their confidence. It helped them to come out of a dark place. It just helped them so much. So interestingly, Vibacious Box came from the self-care I did when I was younger. Then I incorporated it in my travel business. And I was like, no, I want a business that is going to cater and help women pour into themselves. Because we can be so busy pouring into everybody else that we do not pour into ourselves. And I know that as a kidnapping survivor. I've known that as a lupus warrior. I've known that as a single mom. I'm half Nigerian, so even cultural differences, like, listen, your girl know about it and have overcome and have helped other women. And I know that's a long, very long answer, but this is the funny thing, okay? When I was younger, matter of fact, after my kidnapping situation, I went to Chicago. I went to Chicago because I had family in Chicago and I stayed there. And I remember this prostitute. And I just remember her being beautiful. She was sexy. She had all the confidence in the world, but I didn't know she was a prostitute. But I was like, I want what she got. I want to be just like her. I want to be like her. But I didn't know that she was a prostitute. And years later, because honey, I went around telling people I wanted to be a prostitute because she told me she was a prostitute. And I was like, oh, I want to be like her. And somebody told me, sis, you don't want to be a prostitute. But the things that she eluded, the confidence, the self-awareness, the sexiness, her feeling beautiful. I wanted to feel that. And so all of my self-care strategies have been molded around, it's crazy, around the prostitute, but not really, but really, but the feeling and the vibe that she gave. And so me being able to help other women feel beautiful, know who they are, walk into their dopeness, own who they are, that is my mission. And that's the whole thing behind Vibacious Box.
Girl, I just want to say so much, so much. First of all, I'm learning so much about you. First of all, I did not know you were Nigerian. And I also did not know you also had lupus. I also have lupus. And it is a journey, because I don't know about you, but for me, I struggle a lot with like energy, and fatigue. And when you are very ambitious and your body is working against itself, it's mental warfare. Like, you are mad because you don't have the energy to do this. You want to do all of this stuff. And, you have to really take care of yourself. And it's really like a mental battle. I will definitely say that. But did not know that. And the other thing, first of all, I love the story about the prostitute. When I heard your story about that, it was on one of your lives, and you were like, I saw this lady and she was all of this stuff, and how you went back to school and told your teacher that summer, like, I want to be a prostitute. Blah. It was hilarious. But one of the major things that I'm just hearing from you and like everything that you were just saying is that people ask all the time, like, are you born an entrepreneur? Like, are you born with that? Or is it something that you can learn? And I think just listening to your story and so many of other people I've heard, it's almost like you're made into one, right? Just from your life story and the different things, the different connections, the different things that happen in your life, you literally are taking pieces and building something. And that is so beautiful. Like, who knew that what happened to you when you were, 10, or I think you were 10 at that time, or those things were puzzle pieces to an amazing service that you're able to offer the world now. And I mean, I'm not saying that you go through things just to help other people, because it's, again, about the making of who we are and who we're becoming. But I definitely will say that all of those, entrepreneurship is more than just what you see. It is a spiritual journey. And I don't believe that it is for everybody, but the things that you're doing goes beyond just that box, that physical box. It's a spiritual thing. One of my friends always telling me, like, what God is doing through you, he's using you to be able to birth the vision that people they have in their minds or in their heads, and get it out into the world. Like, you're doing that. And so I say to every entrepreneur, really think about what you're doing and see what it's doing in the spiritual realm. And girl, you are doing a heavy work in the spiritual realm, because self-care is so important. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the self-care strategies, because everybody talks about self-care. Everybody's always talking about, pampering yourself and, making sure you look good, you feel good about yourself, saying affirmations. But it wasn't until I started to really learn about you and the self-care perspective that you had, that I learned all self-care and self-care strategies is not the same. It's not created the same. And I think that one of the things with me, yes, I was setting aside time to rest, because here again, if nobody knows, we're talking about self-care on this episode, right? Again, this whole season is just talking to the person behind the business. And a very important aspect of that is self-care, because it will bleed into your business if you are not taking care of yourself. But going back to what I was saying, one of the things that I saw that I was doing wrong was that I was just kind of doing the self-care that I saw everybody else do. I'm feeling bad, let me go get my nails done or do some retail therapy or something like that to make myself feel better. But it wasn't really refilling me. Like, it wasn't really giving me what I needed. And so once I started listening to a lot of your teachings and stuff like that, you started talking about there are certain self-care strategies for certain needs that we have. So I would love for you to kind of share and expand on that a little bit, because I think that's one of the biggest problems of why we aren't being able to be refilled, because we're using the wrong techniques, or what is it, strategies to kind of, feel, but we're not really being filled.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wholeheartedly believe that all self-care is not created equal according to the season that you're in, right? And I always equate it to when you cut your finger. When you cut your finger and your finger is bleeding, or you bust your finger, I don't know, this is bleeding, you don't go and start rubbing your toe. You don't even go and start feeling on your kneecaps. Your immediate reaction is to stop the bleed, heal the wounds, and stop the pain. Well, stop the pain, stop the bleeding, stop the pain, and heal the wounds. And that same thing occurs with our self-care. If you are in need of some mental self-care, let me back up. If you want immediate transformation, right? Because some people don't want it. Some people just like, I just want to say I did, or they want to have a pity party, or they just want to do it just because they feel like self-care is this whole fad term and everybody is doing it. But if you really want transformation, if you really want to feel better, if you really want healing in this area, if you really want a total 360, then you're going to have to put in the work, right? So for those people who are willing to put in the work and who really want to feel different, they want a transformation, then the best thing is to attack the thing. Okay, so just like the finger, you don't touch your toes or whatever, you attack the finger first. If you need emotional self-care, you're going to need to do things that's going to feed into your emotions, not the physical. And the thing is, I'm not saying that it's not going to be helpful. You may feel all right. You may be like, oh, okay, I did a thing today. But then you're right back at it. You're like, man, it feels like I didn't do the thing. It feels like I didn't do anything because you didn't really touch the pain point. You didn't really touch what was bothering you. So I wholeheartedly believe in making sure that you develop a system, a routine, a strategy that feeds into what you need in this moment. So in this moment, I might need social self-care, or 2 weeks from now, I may need more emotional self-care. So depending where I am and depending on the season, that's the self-care that I actually need to dive into. For sure.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense. So how do we go about knowing what we need? Like, I think that's another thing that we miss. We don't know if it's something physical, or if it's the social, or if it's emotional. How can we tell?
So that is a great question, first of all. It's going to be a self-awareness type of thing, right? But when self-awareness is not just about, oh, I can walk with my head high, I can walk, knowing I'm all this and a bag of chips or whatever. It's not just that. Self-awareness is being able to say, hey, I'm hurt. My heart hurt. Hey, emotionally, I'm a wreck. Hey, my body is not feeling good. I'm feeling slow. I'm feeling sluggish, or I'm just not motivated. So one, to even know what you need is to be able to acknowledge where you are in your placement. That is the beginning parts of self-awareness. Because think about it. Going back to your finger, when you cut your finger, you don't say, oh, I don't know where to start with this, when your finger's bleeding and it hurt and it's what is that, pulsating? You don't be like, oh, let me look around. No, you say, I need to fix this. right? And it's the same thing. You just have to go into your own awareness and say, okay, you know what? I'm off kilter and I don't even know where to go. And if you're just that confused, then that's why I'm here. Okay, girl, I'm here to help you navigate and say, okay, it seems like you're having this issue. It seems like this is a physical or emotional or spiritual or social. And then we develop strategies just for you. And I do want to address this crowd though. There are some people who say, my self-care is fine. I do self-care all the time. I love on myself. I put my lotion on. I bathe myself really well. And I do this and I do that. And I go out to eat and all that kind of stuff. That's great. And it is part of self-care. So self-care encompasses so much. But a lot of people only think about it on a surface level. But it's so many levels and so many things to it. And I say to those people, evaluate where you are. Evaluate where you are, because you could be in a rut. You could be in a self-care rut and you need to elevate it. If you've been using the same lotion since 1962 and you're claiming that that's your only self-care, that you rubbed yourself today, ma'am, it's time to elevate. Because the key here is to cultivate the greatest relationship you will ever have beyond God. And that relationship is the relationship with yourself. Because what happens when you don't cultivate that relationship, just like you said earlier, it trickles into everything: business, family, relationships, the way you take things personal or not, the way you want to show up in life or not, the way that you set boundaries in business and your personal life, people on the street, people at the store. It really shows up. And it's the self-care is really the cultivation of the relationship with yourself. And it's just different areas and trying to figure out what you need, how to navigate it, and how to move it along. Because the thing that you needed at 20 is not the same thing that you're going to need at 50. Life experiences then got in the way. Mental things have happened since then. You've got some losses, you've got some gains, you've gotten wealth, you've lost some wealth. It's so much stuff. But self-care is all about cultivating the relationship with you. And if you need to elevate that, then you have to be honest. But self-awareness is key, just knowing where you are and owning it. One of my favorite things is saying you cannot shame a woman who's unashamed. You can't. There's no way. Like if I own where I am, I feel bad today. I'm hurting today. That's my truth. And then you need to go through the process of, why are you hurting? What hurt you? What triggered you? What do you need to do to fix it?
I love that. And it really speaks to having some quiet time, morning routines, or whatever it is, because listen, we do a lot in a day, whether you 9 to 5 or not, or you have kids or you don't, or you're taking care of family, you're in social, groups. We do a lot. And it's so easy for us to not to just kind of push the quiet time off. I'm trying to remember who it was that I was listening to, but they were like, every day when they wake up, before they get out of bed, before they do anything, before it's like, okay, how am I feeling today? How do I feel today? And because for me, I saw that like morning times I was very anxious. I used to be very anxious. And so the first thoughts that would come to my mind will always be a bunch of negative thoughts. And so what I started to do is I would just allow myself to hear all of it. Like, okay, this is what initially is happening, and I can choose to go along with these thoughts, or I could choose to go the opposite way, but it will determine my day. And so the more I started to kind of cultivate a morning routine of like writing down all those thoughts, going back and forth with them, like proving them wrong, or slowing down in the morning time, it really, really helped me. And so I love how you said the self-awareness is key. If you know that you're more negative in the morning time, you need to do something around that, right? Something that's going to help you to get to where you need to be mentally, so you can, execute the day as much as best as possible. Being honest about how you feel, not really trying to push feelings away, but really just saying, okay, let me take some time to see how I feel, be honest about it, acknowledge it. And within that, you will be able to know what you need. I think that's one of the biggest lies, is that we don't know what we need. I think that we aren't quiet enough. We don't center ourselves enough to hear from ourselves about what we need. It's not always external, but we're us. So we have the best knowledge about what we need if we just get still enough and quiet enough to hear that. And if not, if you need help, my girl, this is what she does. This is who she is. She's so good at it. I remember being on, you were talking about something about if you like certain things, you should do certain types of activities. And I remember you saying, I can't remember what it was, but you were like, oh yeah, you should do more community service. And I was like, oh, I should. I do like doing community service. Why don't I do community service? I should do that more. And I have been implementing it more into my schedule, and it's been so good. It's so good. So yeah, do you offer one-on-ones, and what do you offer?
I do. I absolutely do. So I do offer the one-on-one self-care coaching, because I do want to take women from just talking about it to being about it. Because let's be real, everybody knows that they can get more self-care in. Everybody know that. For sure. But actually taking the time to execute it, that's what we mess up every single time, or putting in the work to elevate it, to take it higher for a deeper understanding of who you are, and actually just putting in the work, right? So my one-on-one self-care coaching, we actually do sit down and we discuss where you are in your process currently, right? What you're feeling, what you're going through, what you're doing. And I even have people take an assessment to even help a little bit more. And I actually give them strategies to actually do whatever that thing is, right? So we give strategies, but I don't just stop there. I actually hold you accountable. Every single week, I'm sending you messages. Hey, what have you been doing today? Did you do X, Y, and Z? Like, I'm actually your accountability partner. And so I do offer that service at Vibacious Box. Because here's the thing, stuck is not stuck, but stuck is stuck. Stuck is not stuck. Just let that sit for a minute, but stuck is not stuck, okay? If you're stuck on a highway and you're stuck in the middle of the ocean, you have to do two totally different things to get unstuck. That is the same approach with your self-care. You can be stuck emotionally, you can be stuck physically, but the two things to get unstuck are going to be two totally different things. And this is why I offer the one-on-one self-care coaching, because there is not a cookie cutter plan. Yes, Vibacious Box, we do offer self-care boxes that's full of goodies, that's going to give you an activity for you to do, that's going to boost you up. It's going to give you an out the box type of experience. That's how we actually started, monthly self-care subscription for out the box self-care experiences. And I was like, you know what? I don't want that. I want people to have something personal, because it does me no good. Besides, I mean, you put money in my pocket, I ain't turned down no dollars, but it does me no good to transform you or not transform you just by giving you a whole bunch of products. You can go to the grocery store, you can go to Kroger and buy you a whole bunch of self-care products that you'll never use. You can go to Walmart, you can go to Amazon, and you can purchase a whole bunch of gifts and all this other kind of stuff to make yourself feel good, because in the mood, the colors caught your eye, and you said you was going to start journaling, but you never actually did it. So, you know, now you got a whole bunch of products in a cute box. And I was like, no, I want to make sure if women want that, because I do custom boxes. And in my custom boxes, which is, I highly recommend that too for the people who do the one-on-one coaching, are going to be things that's going to fuel exactly what you need. For example, if I'm telling you, you need some stress relievers, let's just say you have a whole bunch of anxiety and mentally you're a mess. You don't know how to love, you're in a place where you don't know how to love yourself anymore. Let's just hypothetically say that you're at a place where you don't know yourself anymore, you don't recognize yourself anymore, and you're frustrated because you're lost. You're lost because of business, because of relationships, because of the kids, because you put yourself last on the to-do list, whatever the case may be, right? So one of the things that I would do for a person in that case, and this is just one small thing, is that I am going to send you a box that's going to be filled with things that help you spend time with yourself, right? That's going to unlock just the regular. Because yes, you spend a long time in the shower and stuff like that. So let's just say I may send you a plan. And your self-care activity is that you have to take care of this plant. But every single time you have to take care of this plant, you have to say these things to you in your memory bank every single time. So all of the activities may be catered to cultivating their relationship with you that's going to help you be unstressed. That's just one example of something that I would do that's out the box. That's not, let me just stuff these products down your throat. Let me just do this for you. I'm going to get you engaged with yourself so you can cultivate what? The best relationship you'll ever have beyond God.
I love that. I love how you did point out it is the best relationship, the most important relationship that you have outside of, your connection with your creator. And a lot of times we do put that on other people, or we put that off to say, I need to take care of my kids or my husband or, whatever. But it is the best relationship. And, I love that you gave examples. I was definitely going to ask you what are like a few of your favorite self-care, out of the box self-care strategies that you like to incorporate as someone who's super busy, raising a child, working your 9-to-5, tending to your business. You could just give like maybe one or two that are like your favorite for all of our CEOs and CEOs out there.
Guys. It's so hard because once again, I really believe that depending on what you're dealing with, everything is not going to be like top notch. I mean, you got to cater to what you need, right? So for instance, I can have the best idea, and I do, but I can have the best idea, and you may not pick up that idea because that's not what you need at that moment. It doesn't fuel your soul, right? So instead of me telling you what I really love to do, because I do all kind of stuff. Okay. Personally, I've done float therapy. I've done helicopter rides. I have done, most extreme things like that, or I'll push myself beyond my limits depending on if I'm mentally blocked or something. I'll do something that'll really push me, or sometimes I'll just do something like a massage or something, or journaling. So it's so much, right? I don't believe in just saying we're going to stick here. Like I don't even put my self-care stuff in a box. It just depends on what I need at that moment, however. But what I will say is one of the methods that I really highly recommend people to do is to go to 5lovelanguages.com. 5lovelanguages.com. A lot of people read that book, The 5 Love Languages, and they say, oh, this is just for relationships. No, they also have it on there for individuals, and they also have it on there for relationships with your kids and things like that. And the whole premise of the 5 love languages is to see how you send and receive love. So I like to use this assessment for people to take the individual, because you need to know how you send and receive love. So for me,
okay, wait, send and receive love. So the way I didn't even know that there was, it makes sense, but I didn't know like you can send, there are love languages for the way you send love, and there may be different ones for receiving love. Did not know that.
Yeah. So basically it's I think you said it, but it's kind of one and the same. So for instance, for me, I'm a person who, my top love language is acts of service. And it rings true for me because I love to give people my service, but I'm gonna fall so in love with you if you do something for me and I didn't ask you for it. If you went above and beyond and you did a service for me, I receive love best that way. You know how some people say, well, I'm just like in a relationship. Let's think about it. In a relationship, sometimes there's men who like, well, I paid for this and I gave you this gift and I gave you these flowers and I did this. but you never tell me that I'm beautiful, but you never tell me how you feel. So I don't know. I don't relate to what you did. That's not my story, but I'm just saying that's somebody's story. But they didn't relate to what you did. They didn't see that as love. Actually, they took it as something controlling. You tried to control the narrative versus you telling me, because words of affirmation is a love language. Some people need to be verbally told, I love you, you're beautiful, you're amazing, your work is great. And like me, I'm a show me girl, show me. I'm gonna show you, so you show me. That's acts of service. But that goes for the individual as well, because individually, mine is acts of service. I think me and you, we discussed yours as acts of service, and we love volunteering. So that's one thing I would say. If you're an acts of service person, go volunteer in somebody else's business. Go make somebody else's day. Go ahead and give them the thing that you like or that you would actually want.
Yeah, I think the way I like to get to send love or give love is acts of service. But I think for me in receiving, you don't have to give me nothing or do nothing for me. But if you there and you touch me, I'm good. Like, I love quality time, one-on-one time, and I love physical touch. But I can definitely, with you saying that, I definitely love to send or give love via acts of service. Like, that's how I show you I care. Like, if I'm doing something for you, listen. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense. So you were saying that you think everybody should do the individual one, and that will be ways that you can tell, or things that you should do for yourself for different.
Whatever self-care. Yeah. So whatever self-care, and this is for immediate transformation. If you just want to talk about it and not be about it, then, bypass that part, bypass that. But if you really want, transformation to it, yes, take the quiz and see how you like to send and receive love best. And that's to tailor the self-care to that approach. So if you, let's just say your highest is words of affirmation, and you came to me and I said, okay, well, we know that we need to speak good things to you. It's things that I'm going to tell you to do. It's things that you need to visually see. And it's some self-care items, like you need to purchase this or you need to do this, so that you can give those affirmations to yourself. Because rubbing lotion, that's cool. You're going to smell good. You're going to look good, but that's not going to fill your soul on what you actually need. Getting your hair and nails done, baby. I'm the queen of getting my hair and nails done, but that's where you are. But let me say this though, not to knock anybody, because everybody's self-care journey is different. And you may just now be starting on your journey. Some of my clients, they are straight up, fresh out. They're like, hey, never took care of myself. I've been taking care of myself. Well, taking care of everybody else. So me making sure that I take a shower, and it's very basic, is my self-care for today. And that's okay. And we'll build, me being the self-care strategist, we will build from where you are, not from all the way up here. Because if you're not there yet, your healing, your transformation is not going to be there. But if you're at the minimum, take it at the minimum. But I would definitely start with that test first. That's my very first thing. Let me see where you are. And not just by what you say, because you may think you're in a place, and then you look at something. There's some other tests and assessments I have people do. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that about myself. I didn't see that. So.
Well, girl, you have just come and laid all the gems out. We appreciate you. And we really do want to elevate our self-care as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, as boss babes. You can't be bossy and then you're halfway, don't have energy, can't get up, you ain't taking care of yourself, sis. How long do you think this business is going to last?
It's absolutely.
It's not. So I always say we are the greatest assets to our businesses. So we have to make sure we are, investing in ourselves, and we're taking care of ourselves the best way possible. So thank you for coming on and sharing so much of your story, how you got started. You gave us some tips on things that we can do. We have no idea of where we should start. You have the answer from this episode. So, and you can just build from there. Of course, all of Monica's contact information will be in the show notes if you need to connect with her. If you don't connect with her, just follow her on on social media. She is a vibe. Yeah. I love and repost all of your stuff. It's so good. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your, all of your knowledge with us. Is there anything else you want to say before we end this episode?
I would just say, you know what? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And people say that and they're like, oh, that's just something to say. But no, really, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Even when you're on the plane and they tell you, if we go down, something happens, put the oxygen on yourself before you put the oxygen on somebody else. The purpose is, if you can't breathe, you can't help nobody no more. You're not going to be purposeful. So to all of the women, I say, who have businesses, your brand, you are your brand for sure, but there's still a woman behind the title. There's still a person behind the title. And you can't give your business oxygen. You can't revive your business in no fashion, manner, or way if you don't revive yourself first. You have to make sure that you are truly connected. So if you ever think, well, I don't have time for self-care because I got to do this, that, and the other, you ain't gonna be able to do it, sis. You ain't gonna be able to do it if you don't take care of you. And I have that complex sometimes too, where I want to be superwoman and I feel like, oh, I gotta do this, but then I'd be like, you know what, I gotta sit my butt down, because if I don't operate right, if my heart space and my head space is not right, I'm gonna make some decisions in my business that's not gonna be fruitful. I'm not gonna be a good steward over what God has given me intellectually, financially, or in any other manner. And I'm not going to be good to everybody who I want to serve. And if you're anything like me, you love your business, you want your business to flourish, but you also want to be impactful to the people that you serve in your business. You cannot be as impactful, or you cannot live up to your mission statement when you're not even living up to your own personal mission statement, when you're no longer here. Oh. So if self-care is an issue for you, sis, the execution of self-care, if it is an issue for you, I highly urge you to fix it. I highly urge you to get help. Just say that, sis. Definitely connect with me, because you want to be at your best. You want to operate at your best. You want to walk it. You want to talk it. You want everybody around you to see your success. But it's depending on the relationship that you have with yourself first. Love yourself, honor yourself, and fill your cup up. Fill it up, sis. Fill it up.
I didn't even know we was gonna get our edges smashed on that last comment. But okay. How can I look? Let me sign up now, child, because impactful was the key. Impactful. You can be impactful when you're not your best. So thank you so much. Thank you. This was so good. I really appreciate it. Again, all of Monica's contact information will be in the show notes. We thank you guys for listening, for watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you share this with everybody, okay? Your business besties, your family, your friends. Share it, like it, and let's continue the conversation in the comments. So let me know what stood out for you the most in this episode today. And as always, you guys, I love you. Make sure you tune in next week for the next episode. And Monica, thank you again for being here. We love you.